Hey guys, if you're thinking of using this Android smartwatch with a SIM in it for making and receiving phone calls, make sure you watch the very end of the video. There's been a firmware update, and it's not good. Well, here we go again. Greetings and welcome to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web. At smartwatchticks.com, you are in luck. If you've been around this channel for a while, if you're brand new, oh, I feel so sorry for you because I'm going to be sending you all over the place so you can learn about the best Android smartwatch starter watch that you can buy, and it's here in this box right now. This is my recommendation, and I don't very often give them because there's just so many of them. Look at this. It's called the DM30, and I've already got it labeled. Why is it so special? In 2 minutes, you're going to know why you want to buy this one. This is coming to us from TomTop in 2 different flavors. The Domino DM30 in the 16 gigabyte configuration is about that price on flash sale, and bump it up a little bit more, you get the 64 gigabyte version. This is the one you're going to want to buy. I'm going to share why, and then we'll look at the specs. First of all, this one, the 16 gigabyte version has 1 gigabyte of RAM. That's just too small to run in an Android smartwatch, especially Android 10. You're going to find it sluggish, freezes, and you can't run more than a couple of apps. This, by the way, the DM30, this is the mother watch of the KOSPET Prime S. You see, Domino, the company that through Firmware makes the DM line, is the factory. That's another reason why you may want to buy from the factory. The factory makes this 2 different versions, and the flavor that was 1 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte went to KOSPET and became the KOSPET Prime. And I've got a great video up on that one. You're going to want to watch that one, new or old, if you haven't seen it, because it's in that one that I go through all of the apps and all of the settings for all versions of this watch by all companies. That's the foundational one, the KOSPET Prime S. Watch that one. However, if you look at the Lemfo LEMP, that is the offspring of the 64 gigabyte version with 4 gigabytes of RAM, plenty to use, fast, responsive. That's the good one, and it's known as the LEMP from Lemfo. Exactly the same watch. We'll be comparing those together here shortly. And, of course, the DM30 64 gig is from Domino through Firmware over to TomTop, who's letting you pick it up at a really decent price. You got it down now? My recommendation as a beginner, if you're going to buy a smartwatch, an Android one, with all the best features, is the Domino DM30, 4 gigabyte RAM, 64 gigabyte configuration, about $170 or so. From there, spend a couple of years with it, learn it, enjoy it, and then upgrade on whatever you want after that. Here are the overall specs, and you're going to find they're very familiar to the ones we've already seen for the other watches because, of course, it's exactly the same watch. Maybe a little bit of tweaking in the watch faces, maybe a little bit of changes in some of the app appearance, but all in all, everything else is going to be basically the same. They both have this dual mode thing going on. They're both 4G watches. They both use the GSM network, so it'll work in the US on T-Mobile and AT&T, how could I forget them? But not Verizon or any of the other networks that don't work with the GSM. There's the specs. Here's the watch. Let's get started. There's an actual film on here. I'm not going to peel it off on this one. When you watch the Lemfo LEMP review, hi there, the LEMP review, you're basically looking at this same watch, and there's a bubble in that one. It's underneath the film. At one point, I take the film off, and you see it's not there. So don't worry that any of these watches have blemishes on the screen. They don't. That was a little glitch on the film. I've gotten some questions on that. You have a cover on the back you want to take off as well. Yeah, all this is basic stuff. When it comes to turning them on and going through the setup so you can get the best out of your watch, I've also got a great 2021 version of Android watch setup. You're going to want to watch that. So got you down to at least 4 videos, right? The Android setup, the KOSPET Prime S to learn all about the functions inside, the LEMP to learn about dual mode capability and why it is better than any of the others for that purpose, and then this one, which shows you that this is the same as the LEMP and does everything else it does, except it comes from the factory. Lift and pull, off comes the film. Lift here, you get your overall manual. Inside the box is the little charging thing, and you're going to want to note that this is a specialized head. See the notch in the middle? It's a T shape, and it goes right into that notch there. Don't use any of the other ones from your other watches. You got to be with this one. Plugs into the computer. You can transfer files and music and watch faces and all kinds of stuff over directly through the charging pin / data pin. In the manual, we've got the basic description of how you insert the SIM. A little bit more. Some color pictures. Now this is the book from the factory, gang. This is how they are portraying it. The other books could be the same, could be slightly different. It's up to each manufacturer to take what they get from the factory and then contour it to their own liking. And so we got a KOSPET manual and we've got a Lemfo manual for this basic same watch. Again, KOSPET is releasing the lower memory version, and only that, as far as I know. The KOSPET S is the one that's 1 GB, 16 GB. Lemfo has released the higher memory one as the LEMP, 4 GB with 64 GB of RAM. And then we get into the Chinese part of the manual. Here we are, Lemfo LEMP, Domino DM30. I'm pressing the bottom button on both of them at the same time. You can see Lemfo has branded it with a startup logo of their own. Domino, because it's the manufacturer and they wholesale them out to other companies, is just giving you a generic 4G smartwatch. Here's the startup animation. They're both making the noise. Flips into Android there. This has got a little bit more logo to go. Preparing, and we should be there, and there we are. This is the opening page, and English is the selected language. Now before we go in, take a quick look at the bands. Notice the buckle is kind of brushed silver. This is a shiny silver. There's differences in the loops and the holes in the overall design. The Lemfo is giving you one that has holes in the top as well as at the bottom. And the Domino has given you something that's got a little bit of a design there as well. This is kind of a pseudo leather. This is definitely rubberized TPU. So the bands are different. The startup is different, but from here, it's pretty much going to be the same. Now I want to walk you through them both. I'm going to select English. You get this QR code thing, and we've already done videos about following that. You're going to scan this. This is all about connecting to your phone. And first you do that first QR code, that gets you the app, and then in the app you're going to turn your phone into a reader, and you're going to look for this QR code in order for you to tether it to the phone. And that's pretty basic stuff. After we get past all that, I skip through them because we're not going to do the tethering thing right now. Notice the quick timeout on both of them. You get to the opening page, which is a watch face, and this is the stock watch face that comes with each of them. When I swipe down, you've got the different times on them. I'm not sure why. December 31st, that's where they start. You've got the power level, which is where it's at right now on both of them. Come over here, you have all these different settings. We recognize all of those. Here is our 4G system mode, a cleanup thing, and that's about it. Now, from the watch face, if we go over to the right, you're going to get your notifications pushed from your phone, same on both of them. Up, get you your step count, your music player, and your weather. I mean, so far they're identical. We come over here now to the app drawer, and it shows up like this. And over here is your overall fitness activities that we've got listed. And they haven't changed either. Now, from here, we've got phone, contacts, SMS, and settings, heart rate, blood oxygen, sleep, breath training, browser, camera, gallery, calendar, alarm clock, music recorder, file manager, weather, fitness, desktop settings, Google Play Store, maps, optimization, watch face store, app store, assistant, and face unlock. Those are exactly the same as on the LEMP and the KOSPET Prime S. So watch the Prime S video to learn what all those are about. We did notice there was a slight difference between the Prime S and the LEMP in the fitness app, and they look like this now on both of these. So that's a slight difference, and but these two are identical. So the DM30, the LEMP so far are registering everything exactly the same. Interesting, huh? Let's take a look at the watch faces then. Now remember, you can always put in custom watch faces, and we've got videos and locations for doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 faces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17 stock faces are coming with the DM30. So that's a bit of a difference. About the only thing left we haven't done is come over here to the system mode. We're in the 4G. Tap, tap, check, check. And this flips us now to sport mode. Slightly different writing there. When you go over here, you notice that all of your apps have been reduced to just a very, very small subset. And settings is not there at all. Now, are you watching? Because on the Lemfo LEMP, and one of the most impressive things about the video I did on that one is that when you're in this light mode or sport mode, they would give you a special page that includes airplane mode and brightness, so you could change the brightness. Those two controls out of all of the settings. The KOSPET Prime S did not have that. Well, I told you at the beginning I did firmware updates on these watches. Both of them have been pushed out with new firmware, and guess what? They took it away. The page right there that had, right in between here, that had the two icons on it for airplane mode, so you could turn off airplane mode and receive calls on these watches, is gone. So now these are as dumb as the KOSPET Prime S. They don't support incoming phone calls. And of course, you can't make outgoing phone calls unless you try to bypass the operating system restrictions, and we showed you how to do that in the Lemfo LEMP review. You can do that with a special app that you can do double taps on a button and get around that. You could map the phone into that and bring up the phone keypad, and most likely you'd still be able to make an outgoing phone call. You'd need to get into system though after you switch to this mode to turn off airplane mode, because it's on by default to save battery life. So where I was excited at the beginning of the video saying this is the one, this is a good beginner's watch, I'll still stand by that, but it's a lot less capable now in that if you're planning on putting a SIM card in them and using them when you're out and about, you're no longer going to be able to receive or make calls easily or at all from them that you could have in the past before the firmware update. Really big letdown, but that kind of puts all three of these, the KOSPET Prime S, the Lemfo LEMP, and the Domino DM30, into a very restricted class of Android smartwatches that I would not recommend if you're actually going to be using them with SIM cards for phone calling and also want to do good battery management. Well, sorry, but I'm being honest with you, and that's what I try to do in these reviews. If you still want it, and it is a good watch, the DM30 comes to us from TomTop. When you get the cheaper one, it's the same as the Prime S, and it's a 1 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte. Watch the LEMP video, and you'll really see why I recommend against getting the lower memory on that, what the problems are that you may run into. But it is a cheaper watch, and if you're just going to use it to tell time and run one app, maybe it might work for you. But you could pick up the actual DM30 in the 4 gigabyte, 64 gigabyte configuration, the only decent configuration, I'd say, for about 170. If I can get you a coupon discount, check the show notes. We'll have that for you. And of course, this and the Lemfo LEMP are pretty much identical. There's fewer stock watch faces on the Lemfo than there are here, and you saw all the other real subtle differences, but the major functions are exactly identical. The cameras are identical, 5 megapixel, both of them, with 5 megapixel resolution, front and top. And the reason I'm really hyping these as the kind of watch that I would recommend is because that outward-facing camera is on the top and not over on the side. Almost all the others have them on the side. There's just a few. These 3 that I've been talking about have them up here. And goodness, there's so many. KOSPET. KOSPET's got 2 Android 10 watches. These are all Android 9. The Prime 2 and the Optimus 2 that also have top cameras, but they're only one camera and they rotate. And that brings in a weak point where there could be a little breakage or water seepage. So I don't know. There's always a trade-off on these. Anyway, these are great watches for having a forward-facing camera and top-facing so that when it's on your arm, it's pointed out and not over your wrist. Follow me? And that makes it great for using it for taking pictures. Of course, in the power savings mode, I don't think you had the camera there, did you? No. You have heart rate and sleeping and breathing and alarm clocks and fitness, and that's it. So you can't use your camera when you have it in the sports mode either. Oh well. That's where we are. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please give a thumbs up if you like the video, not if you don't like the concept. I don't like the concept either, but giving me a thumbs down on it or not liking it is like, it's not helping. But if you like me giving you this kind of clarity of information, please give it a thumbs up. That's important, and I can keep this channel going. All right, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.